Hello, I'm Dr. William E. Morgan for Parker Performance Institute. Today I have two very special guests. We have Jose Pep Tablada. Pep, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
And we also have Floyd McLendon, who's our Director of Advancement here at Parker Performance Institute. So Floyd, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So Pep, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you coming from?
Yeah, so I'm here on behalf of the Marine Reconnaissance Foundation. Our organization is a national 501c3 that focuses on the betterment and enrichment of Marines and sailors and family members of the Marine Reconnaissance community.
Very good. So we've had some conversations here. We've been touring campus, and we're looking for ways that we could probably work together with this veterans organization and others to maximize the health of our service members and our veterans, but also possibly provide scholarship opportunities to Gold Star families. So, we were talking earlier, and Floyd, you might be able to relate to this, something called operator syndrome. I'd never heard that term before. Can you all explain to me what operator syndrome is?
Yeah, so it's kind of a newer term for us combat veterans from the global war on terrorism that kind of categorizes the culminations of symptoms in our line of work, whether you're a Navy SEAL, whether you're a Force Reconnaissance Marine, or some other type of combat arms or special operations, where the repeated exposure to blast injuries, the high altitude parachuting, the underwater subsurface diving, the breaching, the flashbangs, the trauma that come with combat operations, indirect fire, and then the symptoms that come with that, the traumatic brain injury, the issues with sleep, cognitive dissonance, ability to concentrate, etc., kind of all fall under the umbrella of operator syndrome.
So, and of course, both of you are combat vets, and thank you for your service. And, veterans of military service, I appreciate this. But also, as we talked about earlier about something called axonal shear, that even a blast that's maybe not that knocks you down or you don't get hurt, still causes damage. And when that happens, there's cell death of neurons and there's inflammation. And that can disrupt normal brain function. So we've created at Parker Performance Institute a unique clinic designed to restore that. And I think you've had some experience with that, not only as our Chief Advancement Officer, but also possibly as someone who's experienced some of those treatments.
Yeah, absolutely. I was blessed to go through the treatment 3 years ago, and I was not open to do the treatment at the particular time when I did the tour. Mainly because of just a background of being an operator. Like we never really want to show our vulnerable side for various reasons. However, the doctors at Parker Performance Institute, they convinced me to go through, and I realized on the back end after I was done that I had experienced a traumatic brain injury, and it did affect me, and I came out a better person after it.
So, and you've been exposed to blast. In the modern special operations warriors always doing, breaching with small charges or shooting weapons or possibly exposed to shooting mortars, and these overpressures actually accumulate and cause damage. But the good news is, if it doesn't go too far, we can actually treat that and reestablish those pathways and reestablish some normal living attributes. So you guys were in during the war. I was in prior to that. So you guys have done a couple rubber ducks. So
Absolutely.
We were doing lots of those. And for those who don't understand what that is, you parachute over the horizon and you push a boat out and you parachute at night. You get in that boat and then you take that boat in about 25 miles over the horizon navigation. The pounding from just the boat rides.
Very comfortable.
It's
Right.
Yeah, you're sitting on
Especially if you're number 1 and 2, man. It's a good time.
It's like, I just remember the pounding from that, let alone without explosions at the other end of it. But that was just, after the parachuting. The parachuting wasn't very much trauma at all. But just that amount of trauma, I know that's going to cause some disruption to your brain. But we talk about war wounded, but also people who are in sports like soccer. The number one sport for receiving concussions. What do you think it is?
I wouldn't think it's soccer, but maybe it is.
It is soccer.
Really? Wow.
Men or women?
Women.
Women soccer has the most concussions of any sport.
Wow.
And part of it is that men, when they're growing up, they're always working at upper body, so they get a lot more stability to their neck. Turns out neck motion, when you have a blow, contributes to that. If you've got a strong neck, there's some protection to that. So this is one of the things we want to do in our treatment plans too. But getting back to Parker Performance Institute, we have the opportunity to have Marine Reconnaissance and Navy SEALs and all other veterans come there. We are embracing veteran organizations, but we'd like to open this up so that they can come and get restorative treatment so they can live a normal life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that certainly any service member, but the men that come from our communities and similar ones over the last 20 years have experienced a lot of the trauma over and over, hundreds, thousands of times in their career. 25 years in service, right, is an example right here as a Navy SEAL. And a lot of us came out not wanting to accept the changes in ourselves, in our behavior, in our thought process. And a lot of people believe that it's a culmination of psychological or spiritual damage, and there is some of that. But what I've learned here today with your team is that there are also micro traumas that are happening every day. And so over a 2-decade career, what that causes, in the brain and the damage for the neural connections is what you and your program is addressing. We're very interested to be involved in that. So,
and what our brothers and sisters have to understand, especially in our communities, is that this is normal. It's normal for us to have these symptoms. It's normal for us to get the treatment, right? So it's getting that message out to them.
No stigma.
No stigma. Saying, hey, it's just this is a part of your job, and these are the things that you're going to experience. But what we have is we have an opportunity to bring you back to a baseline where you are better than after the trauma that you have experienced.
And we have brain injuries, and then there's post-traumatic stress. And if you've had a brain injury, you're much more likely to affect post-traumatic stress. And what that is, so that people understand, it's, you notice I didn't say PTSD because it's not.
We don't use the D either.
Yeah, it's not a disorder. If you were to be here in Texas 1,000 years ago and you're a Native American tribe hunting buffalo or hunter-gatherers, and a wolf pack decides you're their primary food source, what's the natural survival mechanism?
Sure, it's going to be fight or flight, right?
Fight or flight, hypervigilance, disturbed sleep, irritability, all these things that help you survive. When you break contact with the wolf pack, you restore to baseline. We found that people who go to war, especially if they have brain injuries or have a lot of perturbation of their life, they basically, you go and you come back. If you spend too much time there, it doesn't turn off. The fight or flight, the hypervigilance, all those things don't turn off. And so you come home and people don't recognize you. And as you've already recognized, certain people, they long to be downrange again. Only place you're normal is downrange, where being hypervigilant and irritable and combated is actually normal and preferred. So those are things that we also want to look at. But also, again, we want to take the stigma away. PTS without the D. It's not a disorder. It's a normal survivor mechanism that's built in all of us, and it's part of being a human.
Yeah, I would say that, of course, every serviceman and woman, has their own trauma during service. But certainly over the last 20 years, in combat, Iraq, Afghanistan, other places like Syria, Libya, and other undisclosed locations, there is a lot of that. And we have hundreds, probably thousands, tens of thousands of men and women that are coming out of that. And now we're in a post-war sort of nation, and we have all of these veterans that need treatment. And this is a fantastic program that we, the Marine Reconnaissance Foundation, on behalf of our community, are very excited to be involved in.
Well, how can we support your foundation?
So, the way that we see it is, we focus again on, former, including retired, and current active duty Marine sailors and their families. So, in the perfect scenario, we would like to provide opportunities for our teammates to receive the treatments you've described today, to help them get back to that normal baseline, especially those that have left service and can reestablish their connections with their families, but also to provide some of these same services or the education opportunities that the University provides to, our transitioning veterans, our Gold Star family members, those Gold Star children that lost their dad. So we really would like to expand on that opportunity.
So Floyd, what advice would you give someone who's kind of hesitant to come in for care?
Well, first I would have them just be honest with themselves, because only they know, exactly, how they feel. Two, I would have them listen to the people that are very close to them, their spouses, their kids, the people who matter, who see the differences that's occurring on a daily basis. And three, being a fellow brother who's gone through the treatment, trust that what I'm saying is real, and that you will benefit from it. And, to just open up and allow yourself to be given love, right? From an institute that wants to help you heal. And you've earned it. Like, you served your country.
Absolutely.
And now it's time for us to take care of you.
Absolutely.
So come in and let us take care of you.
Yeah, if I could add to that, so having been here for one day with you and your team, for our supporters and teammates out there, or any veteran that's considering Parker University, I will tell you, what we have seen today is amazing and transformational. Frankly, completely blown away by the program services, both education and medical services provided here at Parker University. I would absolutely recommend to anybody listening, any one of my teammates, that you have to come here and participate in this.
And what we offer at the clinic is a unique combination of modalities that, in addition to doctors there and nutritionists and strength and human performance experts, we have some of the treatments that are unique, and the combination of them are unique in the world. And I've worked at other brain centers, but we've have gyrostims, for example, where basically it challenges your vestibular apparatus. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, so it stimulates neuroplastic changes in your brain, and a variety of other treatments, balanced treatments, exercise with weights, gait lab. Basically, it's unique. So thank you both for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, Pip.
Thank you.
Floyd.
Yes, sir.
And this is Parker Performance Institute.